only affect us. Of course, we keep our hair nice, we buy nice clothes and nails done, and we layer all of these external niceties on ourselves. But what about our heart? Not only, physically, but, how we're feeling. And I don't think sometimes we realize how aligned our physical health is or is not with our mental health. And, I'm a champion for mental health and physical health, because even I realized how freeing it was. It wasn't just losing the physical weight. It freed me from some mental heaviness that I was experiencing, worried about my health, it freed me financially from doctor bills and extra visits. It freed me from different relationships. And how have you found, and even your clients, how have they found freedom, that getting fit with CeCe Dee is just part of other freedoms and other, as the Bible says, laying aside every weight? How have you all found that in getting fit with CeCe Dee and using microbes?
That freedom is encompassed in the accountability of having someone who has a similar experience that you've had. I'll share a story, and hopefully I won't get too teary with you. But when I
It's
was young,
okay. I'll cry with you, girl. I'll cry with you.
personal story, and that's a part of my freedom of being able to tell people about what I've experienced in the weight loss process and the struggles. I mentioned that I started this as a preteen and going to the grocery store once with my grandmother.
Welcome to Black Women's World Podcast, the BWWP, where we get VIP access into the lives of Black women, or as we like to call us here, our Sister Niestas. We get to hear from some of our favorite Sister Niestas as they share their worlds with us and create connections, exchange realities, ideas, and baby, we get to recognize and celebrate how powerful we really are. Our sisterhood here is real, filled with peace, wisdom, hope, love, light, and laughter. You know, the kind you can feel, the kind of encouragement that confirms we can do anything because we have, and the kind of inspiration that proves we can be even greater. This is our world, where if you ain't a Black woman, you may want to be one, or definitely get to know one. It's a Black women's world, and we welcome our Sister Niesta lovers too. Welcome to our queendom. I'm your self-discovery companion, your professional peacemaker, and I'm your host, TracyMac. Come on in and relax and sit with me for just a little while. Peace.
Well, hello, everybody. I am TracyMac, your self-discovery companion, your professional peacemaker, and host of Black Women's World Podcast. That's the BWWP. I am so excited today to have with me CeCe with Get Fit with CeCe Dee, because let me tell you, I'm going to keep it real with you. We started to just do a promo for Get Fit with CeCe Dee, but after thinking about some things and honestly having some technical difficulties, I wanted her to come back and do a full-fledged interview, because what I see that she is offering the world and just who she is as a person deserves for us to have some VIP access into the life of this wonderful Sister Niesta. CeCe, welcome to Black Women's World Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
I am so glad you're here. And, I keep it realer than ever. I am so impressed with who you are. I have been for some years. And what you do in and outside of Get Fit with CeCe Dee. Now, the name in and of itself says what it's about, getting fit. This month, we are Health Awareness Month for women and our heart health. Yes. And you are doing some remarkable things in the areas that I had no idea, and still to some degree have no idea. Tell us a little bit about what Get Fit with CeCe Dee is all about. I'm here to listen.
Well, thank you. Get Fit with CeCe Dee is all about connecting with women who are struggling with fat loss, weight loss, and body recomposition. I want to educate, coach, guide, instruct women on how they can get control of this thing that we have called diet all of our lives. We don't want to diet anymore. We want to get healthy. And that's what I'm doing with Get Fit with CeCe Dee.
Baby, you just said a whole lot. We don't want to diet anymore. You know, back in the day, it was during the Richard Simmons days.
Yeah.
A lady told me, she said, diet means do it each Tuesday. And so, and she said it doesn't work. You know, dieting doesn't work. It doesn't work for a lot of us. And I'm impressed with the method of getting fit with CCD. And I'm looking here at the bio of it all. And one thing I really like is your tagline. You say, today is your tomorrow. Start today on your macronutrient journey towards your fat loss, weight loss, body recomposition journey. And you just said that to us. And I don't think a lot of us understand necessarily what body recomposition is about. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, let's think about all the diets that we've been on and how we have starved ourselves or deprived our body of the nutrients that it needs to survive. And then how you look in the end. You have this gaunty look where you have lost body mass, and just recomposition, body recomposition is teaching you how to eat the proper foods so that you can build those muscles that are needed for you to survive day to day.
So you said something that doesn't normally go with diet, eat.
Eat.
Eat. So based on your approach to this, and I want to know, before we get into how Get Fit with CeCe Dee works, how did you come to know this knowledge that is helped you be successful in your health journey? And how did what was going on in your life as to what made you say, "No, CeCe, I got to wrap this thing up and get it together"?
Well, my start was kind of twofold. I have been a habitual dieter all my life. And it wasn't just as an adult. I remember as a preteen thinking that my body was not where I wanted it to be and doing things that were unhealthy for me. I tried all of the name brand diets. And in January of 2019, I was introduced to macronutrients, macros for short. It taught me how to eat, how to get my calories, how to incorporate proteins, carbs, fats, things that
Wait. You said carbs. You said
carbs. Carbs
carbs.
are our enemy. Carbs are our source of energy.
Wait a minute. Say it again. Say it again for me, not the people in the back. For me.
Carbs are not our enemy. We need them for our energy. I was working out so many times a day, a week, just spending so much time working out. And at the end, I had no energy. I was cutting out things that I needed to survive.
Wow, I think you just freed up a lot of people. It's a little part of me that's just feeling like this, you know, because we've heard about different fad diets, even some things still consistent in the medical industry, and about I know there are different types of carbs, your simple and your complex, but to hear someone say, and then we know, not necessarily because we're Black women, but women of a certain age that we ain't gonna tell today. But women of a certain age, a certain style of upbringing, the foods we ate when we were growing up, how is what you're doing now much different than I know you said you were dieting, but is it in any way consistent with some of the foods you grew up eating, or does it totally shift that particular menu?
It does not shift that menu. It actually makes it important for me to know those foods that I was eating as a young lady. It was okay. I just needed to eat the proper amount, portions, taking that meat, that carb, that fat, putting it all together, based on my body size, my body type, my activity level, calculating all of that together because I am a math educator by profession sometimes, and just taking all of that together and calculating those foods that I love and making sure that I am eating it for me and my body composition.
See, I want you right now that you said a lot, and we're gonna double back on a couple things, but I want you to tell people right now how they can get in contact with you because you may have already gripped some people already talking about carbs and eating the foods that we grew up eating in the right, portion control. But tell the people how they can get in contact with you, CeCe Dee.
Well, first, I am on social media. A lot of people may be surprised about that. They think that people our age would not be on. I am on social media. I'm on
Uh-huh.
Instagram at Get Fit with CeCe Dee. I am on Facebook and Twitter, both Get Fit with CeCe Dee. On Twitter, it's just a D, not DEE. So let me
Okay.
go ahead and spell that for you.
Okay.
Get Fit with CeCe Dee. GETFITWITHCECEDEE. That's social media. That's where I am. You can reach me on my website, www.fitmeccd.com. Again, that's www.fitmeccd.com. And if all else fails and you just say, I can't do all of that, you can send me an email, ccd24@gmail.com. Reach out
You,
to me.
you laid it out. I don't think anybody can miss any of that. If nothing else, CCD in and of itself. Just put that in. And I'm
Yes.
sure because some things automatically populate. And I wanted people to have that information this early in our conversation because you may have already piqued someone's interest to just talk to you about it and get information. But I want to roll this conversation back just a little because you mentioned a couple things that most of us, and I can't assume everybody, but I know I don't like, and that's math. Other than counting money, uh, you know, even in school, I struggled. I was telling my daughter the other day, she's a college student and she's in an algebra class. I said, "Baby, don't ask me nothing, because if you ask me, you will fail." I ended up graduating as a North Carolina scholar, but I failed algebra twice and ended up taking it in summer school, barely passing it. So when you talk about, I know people talk about weighing foods and counting calories, but you just mentioned something, and even from looking at your bio here, about using mathematic formulas to create a tailored um, plan. How does that work, especially for somebody like me who doesn't want to do the math, or as my mom used to say, MAFF math. We don't want to do the math. Women all around the world who are like me, how do you bring your expertise as a mathematician into macro counting?
Well, like I said, there's a formula, and the formula is what customizes the macro program for you as an individual. What works for TracyMac may not work for CeCe Dee and vice versa. That formula incorporates your age, your weight, your height. We take all of that and add that to your activity level, and that determines the number of calories you need to eat on a daily basis just to survive. Just to survive. Then we determine whether or not you need to be in a deficit, if you need to be in a surplus, if you need to just eat right there at that level in order to get your body in sync with what it needs to do. Now, when I started the program in 2019, I had to start in a reverse diet. Now, that reverse diet, what is that?
Yes, what is that? BWWP listeners, here we go. What is a reverse diet?
I have spent so many years dieting that I had destroyed my metabolism. So no matter what I was doing, I was not losing any weight. I was working out. I was cutting my calories, and I was cutting my calories even more. And my body said, I'm not doing this anymore. So I worked with a coach who said, this is the amount of calorie you need to eat to survive on a daily basis. You're not eating that. I have to slowly work you up to that caloric amount. And once I reached that amount, I was surprised that I could eat 2,000 calories a day and not gain a pound. If you told me that 2-3 years ago, I would not have believed it. But sure enough, working with someone who was an expert with macros, I was able to increase my calories, work out, have energy, enjoy the foods that I love. A healthier person, a much healthier person. That actually is the goal, just to be healthy. Some people want to be size smaller or size smaller.
Yeah.
That was at a certain age, you stop chasing that dream and you determine you have to fight for your life and your body to make sure that you are able to fight all these viruses and diseases that are going on. You have to have a healthy lifestyle, and macros work.
Yes, I thank you so much for saying that. And everybody can't go by the BMI chart. We've mentioned for now going on the third time, women of a certain age, and of a certain race and of a certain build. I was told years ago that the BMI chart was made for a military pilot. That they began to use it back then. I'm not sure of the 100% validity of that, but I know that there is some truth to it. And that pilot's weight was based on, the seat that they had to sit in, and how well the plane was able to fly. So that's a different type of body type altogether. And so when I looked at the BMI chart, because I've lost 125 pounds and I am still not anywhere near that BMI. I tell people all the time, I ain't trying to get there. Because like you said, some people, it's just a matter of healthy for you. What would it be? You have to define what your own definition of being healthy is and stick with that. And if you need help, like Get Fit with CeCe Dee, if you've reached a plateau, or if you have been counting calories all of your life, and tell me this, how, I know from my perspective, but I want to hear from your perspective, how much of a psychological relief was it for you to stop the battle and a battle you were fighting wrong?
That was another accomplishment of the program. There was such a mind shift change in this person here, knowing that I did not have to worry about getting up in the morning and I have to stay away from this food. I have to stay away from this drink. I have to constrict myself in this little box. I have such food freedom right now. I love it.
Say it again. Say it again. You got what? You got what?
Food freedom. So much so, I had pizza for dinner last night.
Go ahead. You know I get up out this chair in a minute and jump up and down.
And there were a number of years that I would not even eat pizza. Pizza, French fries, and ice cream, I completely cut out of my diet because I consider those just absolutely bad foods for me. There is no such thing as a bad food in macros.
Wait a minute. First of all, I'm trying to figure out how you had the discipline to do it, because I was a yo-yo dieter for years, but I'd be sneaking food thinking people wouldn't see it show up on my hips, But how were you? That is very disciplined to be able to cut common foods that we all love and like: pizza, French fries, and ice cream. Baby, you my superhero. I need some of that discipline.
Do you battle with getting fit or often have questions like, what should I eat? How do I get fit? Or how can I at least have a little fun while doing it? Well, your answer has arrived. Get Fit with CeCe Dee. Cynthia Daniel, CEO of Fit Me CeCe Dee LLC, uses a macro mixology method, and clients are getting exceptional results in an unconventional way. Macro mixology is an educational approach to nutrition. Scholars receive game-changing techniques in their selection and consumption of foods. The educational coaching sessions teach you how to mix the 3 macronutrients, proteins, carbs, and fats, for the achievement of your ultimate goal, a healthier you. Today is your tomorrow. Start today on your macronutrient journey towards your fat loss, weight loss, and body recomposition journey. Get Fit with CeCe Dee. Contact Get Fit with CeCe Dee at fitmecd.com to start your journey. You've been listening to Black Women's World Podcast.
It was hard. It was difficult. It was psychologically damaging to me.
Mm-hmm.
And now just being able to say, I can have that pizza, I can have those French fries, and knowing the proper amount that I need to eat in order to meet what my daily caloric intake needs to be, in order to make sure that I have the protein, the carbs, and the fats that I need from those foods. Everything has a part in your caloric intake, and you just need to make sure that you are calculating that. It takes a little work, it does, but for me, that little work is a lot better than having that psychological restriction that just controls your whole life and your whole day.
Yes.
And if people are worried about, well, how do I calculate this? Don't worry about that.
That's what CeCe Dee is for. She is working with her gives you the benefit of not having to do that for yourself. It's amazing to me how we struggle with things because because we cater to Black women, even though I have several other people of different races and even Black men who listen to the show. But as Black women, we cater and help so many other people that sometimes it takes an act of God for us to say, I need help.
Yes.
We just did a show the other day called Help Me, because that's not language that most Black women use in times past because we couldn't, at times past because we didn't, and sometimes we just won't. And that to me is the epitome of the lack of self-love, when we won't reach out to get help for ourselves in ways that only affect us. Of course, we keep our hair nice, we buy nice clothes and nails done, and we layer all of these external niceties on ourselves. But what about our heart? Not only, physically, but, how we're feeling. And I don't think sometimes we realize how aligned our physical health is or is not with our mental health. Right. And, I'm a champion for mental health and physical health, because even I realized how freeing it was. It wasn't just losing the physical weight. It freed me from some mental heaviness that I was experiencing, worried about my health, it freed me financially from doctor bills and extra visits. It freed me from different relationships. And how have you found, and even your clients, how have they found freedom that Getting Fit with CeCe Dee is just part of other freedoms and other, as the Bible says, laying aside every weight? How have you all found that in Getting Fit with CeCe Dee and using micros?
That freedom is encompassed in the accountability of having someone who has a similar experience that you've had. I'll share a story, and hopefully I won't get too teary with you. But when I was
okay, I'll cry with you, girl. I'll cry with you.
Personal story, and that's a part of my freedom of being able to tell people about what I've experienced in the weight loss process and the struggles. I mentioned that I started this as a preteen and going to the grocery store once with my grandmother, and she always told me, you can get whatever you want. And this one particular time, we were at the checkout and they had I'm going to age us now, they had Dexatrim on the shelf. I grabbed that Dexatrim and said, this is what I want. She, not knowing, she bought it. She bought it for me. And when she got home, she started thinking about it, and she said, no, give me that. Give me that. And so for me, going through this whole process of getting introduced to macros, learning that there was food freedom, just remembering the things that I did to try to lose weight and how desperate I was. And I don't want people to have that desperation anymore, ever again. the things that we try to do to make sure that we are in a cookie cutter box.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
just
And you said that cookie cutter, cookies is my thing, now, pun intended. Cookies, cakes, pies, whatever. But when we do look at the images that the world presents to us, this is one reason why I even started the Black Women's World podcast, is because I said before I had seen the Beyonce video King, and I had seen Meg Thee Stallion and Cardi B's video WAP, and I
yeah,
did not see Black women like us being illuminated and celebrated in the world. And I wanted to bring us to the stage because we are not cookie cutter. Really, no person is cookie cutter, but we tend to try to force ourselves into molds and makeups that other people have put on us. And what I like about what you're offering your client is a tailored, customized plan. Baby, this is just for you.
yes,
This is
yes,
just for you. And then it will even the mental freedom that we say it brings, and even again financial freedom. If you are diabetic, if you do have high cholesterol, if you have high blood pressure, if you have other obesity related diseases where you're receiving medication for, those are prescriptions that you're paying for every month. I know, honey, been there, done that. My testimony of 16 different medications, all were not obesity related, but it was so much money going to the doctor. After you get to a certain age, you're going to still go to the doctor for certain things. You go for your annual checkup, whether it be your eyes, your body. I'm dealing with a knee problem right now, but I do not go to the doctor like I was going before, and so those things that we have forced ourselves into the mold of society, and sometimes even cause us to have these habits that become unhealthy: overeating, eating dangerously, other illnesses, anorexia, bulimia. People assume Black women don't deal with that, but Black women do all over the world.
yes,
And so having someone like CeCe and using Get Fit with CeCe Dee, to have someone who, number one, cares,
cares.
number two, understands your struggle. That's half the battle. That's half the battle, to go to say, because she said, she just said, I remember Dexatrim, we in that same age bracket, and so many other, and even FinFin and all these other things and I'm not
Yes.
saying they haven't worked for certain people. I did the lap band. It worked for about 5 months until I started having issues with it. I lost about 60 pounds, had issues with it, blockages. They ended up taking the band out. I gained all the weight back because I never dealt with this, never
Yes,
had accountability, which is something CeCe offers,
it is.
to really deal with it. And I know I said a lot, but a lot of people are in pain behind their health, and because they don't have someone. And I appreciate you being a someone and coming to the show and even sharing about not just what you do, but who you are. Is there anything that you think potential client could benefit from that we haven't said yet?
There's two things, and this comes from experience with the clients that I'm working with. They gravitated and jumped on the portion about stress and how stress impacts their eating habits, their workouts, their mindset. So we're incorporating that into our macro program, customizing it towards each one of my clients who say, hey, look, the stress level, and just engaging and talking about it. What can we
Yeah.
do to assist you with this stress so that the stress and the body goals are there for you? The other part is, because we've mentioned that we're both women of a particular age, I have learned and studied and come to understand the impact of macros on women who are going through menopause. That
Mm.
that hormonal change, the foods that you eat, and how it impacts the hot flashes you might have, any changes in your body, that middle girth that you're getting that you don't understand.
Oh, you
Well,
were so nice about that middle girth. It's a Dunlap. It's a.
just where does that come from? What hormone is causing that to just grow out of control? What can I do to control that? There's a customization for that as well. So those are two of the things that I've really encountered with the women that I've worked with, and making sure that, again, it's customized for those specific women with those specific requests.
And
Anything that
you are so on point, CeCe, because when we pull the demographics from our podcast, we pull it every week. Our listeners range between the ages of 35 and 62. Now that is a broad range, and we have about 88% women, and we have about a 10% of our listening audience is men. And then we have sometimes up to 32 different countries that will hit. So this is not just something for African American women. It's not just something for Black women, but people as a whole. Because let me tell you something, that stress is hitting everybody all over the
everybody,
world.
yes,
If you
yes.
ain't been stressed in 2020, you ain't living. Some type of stress. And I don't care how strong you are. I don't care how centered we find ourselves. I don't care how much you pray and meditate, because those are my spiritual releases. You still will encounter stressful moments and stressful situations.
Yes.
And then the menopause thing, like I said, the age group that listens to this podcast, most of them fall within that range. And maybe you have experiencing different aspects of menopause and not realizing where this little extra weight is coming from. I haven't really changed anything significant in my life, and I got this little weight coming on. And even like she said, the reduction of night sweats and hot flashes can all be related back to diet. But you may know these things, but here's the thing. The internet has given us a lot of the information age. So we have a whole lot of information, but we don't have a whole lot of implementation. And people say knowledge is power. It is not. Knowledge is not power in and of itself. Not applied knowledge is power. So we have the information from Get Fit with CeCe Dee. Now, can we apply it? Can we implement it by giving her a call or reaching out to her? She just gave us, and I'm going to have her give it again, her email address, her website, her Instagram. It's nowhere in social media where she cannot be found. Can you give us your information again, please?
Well, as you said, it's Get Fit with CeCe Dee. If you go onto Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, that's how you can find me. On Twitter, it's just D, not DEE. So Get Fit with CeCe Dee is GETFITWITHCECEDEE. Again, on Twitter, it's just the letter D. And if you want to email me, CeCeDee24@gmail.com, CeCeDee24@gmail.com. Please reach out to me, send me a DM, and I will definitely respond, and we can customize and reach you at wherever you are.
Wow. So reach out to her. Remember, it's applied knowledge. Get the knowledge. If you don't want to do all the counting and the formulas, she's there to do it for you. One more question, at least one more.
Okay.
What can someone expect when they reach out to you and send you that email? What's a consultation like? Is it a timed, or are you offering a consultation? Just let people know what they can expect when they contact you.
Okay. There is an application that gives me that pertinent information that I'll need: your age, weight, height, what your goals are. Everybody does not have the same goals. And from that application, we'll have a discovery call. I will talk to you about the information in the application. Sometimes people will reveal a little more information. I have to put on my detective hat to find out, because sometimes we may think that we're eating 1,500 calories when we're actually only eating 700, or vice versa. So gathering that information, finding out what are you doing now? What do you want to do? And how we can best reach that point in your life. So that's the process.
See, it's painless. It's painless. You don't have to be afraid. And that's why I want, and thank you so much for sharing that, because sometimes people are reluctant because they don't know what it's going to involve. And I appreciate you. You're a very warm person. And so I appreciate you for expressing that. So now you know what to expect, listeners, when you call or when you reach out to Get Fit with CeCe Dee. It's painless. She already understands based on her own experiences and successes that she shared. And so I do find, whether it be with trainers and people that are helping with the physical, or even with mental health, or even law or accounting, people tend to do better with people they trust, people that have been through those things as well. That's half the battle. It's nothing like going to someone when you reach out because you need something and you don't feel like you can trust them, and it takes you a little while to get in the groove. Well, this has been an interview that has proven to you she's easy to talk to. She's a wonderful person. She's listened to me as I've gone in on rants, but she's easy to talk to. She presents herself well. She's her own success story. I encourage you, Sister Nistas and Sister Nista lovers, get fit with CeCe Dee. CeCe, I'm so glad you have spent this time with us here at the BWWP. Do you have any other words you would like to say to our worldwide audience?
Well, thank you, worldwide audience, for listening to me, and thank you for this platform. You are doing an incredible job. I enjoy the presentations that you make for your Sister Nistas. I love being a Sister Nista. This is awesome. Awesome. And looking forward to us both making a difference to the women that we work for, serve.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much. BWWP, Get Fit with CeCe Dee. I'm TracyMac. Peace.
You've been listening to Black Women's World Podcast, the BWWP, brought to you in part by TracyMac Solutions for Life Institute, coaching and training services. No doubt you have enjoyed being in our world, and it doesn't have to stop here. Head on over to blackwomensworld.com. This is my personal invitation to you to stay connected with me on social media and more. I'd love to see you there, and I'm so grateful you came to be with me here. Invite someone else to join you in our queendom next time, so they can feel the vibe of our tribe of Sister Nistas and Sister Nista lovers too. Remember to be kind, be authentic, be generous, be excellent, be grateful, and while you're at it, go ahead and be extraordinary, because that's just what Sister Nistas do, on purpose, through mission, with passion and compassion. It's a Black woman's world, baby, and you, my Sister Nista, are proof. I'm your self-discovery companion, your professional peacemaker, and your host, TracyMac. Wherever you are in the world, may you love and be loved by somebody. Peace.